All right, let's dive right into this explainer and explore exactly how the Codatta Protocol is aiming to completely restructure the AI data economy. If you've been tracking the explosion in artificial intelligence lately, you already know that data is the absolute lifeblood of these systems. It's what makes the model smart, adaptable, and actually useful for us. But there is a massive structural flaw in how that data is currently being gathered, and more importantly, how the human beings providing it are compensated. It's a huge bottleneck, and it literally threatens the next major leap in AI capabilities. So today we're unpacking exactly what that flaw is, and we'll look at how a new framework called the Codatta Protocol proposes to fix it by introducing a totally different, much fairer economic model for knowledge workers.
So, who really owns AI training data? It's a crucial question, right? Because as it stands, the advanced intelligence workers fueling these AI models absolutely aren't capturing the true value of their contributions. Think about the daily outputs we see from cutting-edge AI. When a model generates a brilliant piece of software code or accurately flags a tiny anomaly in a rare medical scan, it isn't doing that by magic. It is relying entirely on foundational knowledge that was painstakingly provided by human experts. Yet, under the current system, those experts are completely disconnected from the long-term success of the models they helped build. The value just flows straight up to the platform, while the actual knowledge creators, they're basically left behind.
So Section 1, the broken labeling model, and the flaws of traditional SaaS platforms. To truly understand the proposed fix, we first need to take a hard look at what's fundamentally broken here, which really boils down to an outdated way of valuing human labor in the digital age.
It's honestly a stark contrast between the legacy paid-once system and the human-centric model that actual experts are starting to demand. In the old SaaS model, traditional labeling vendors centralize the data, and by extension, they centralize all the profits. The people doing the actual highly specialized work get a one-time, usually minimal fee. They get zero ownership, absolutely no recognition for their expertise, and they have almost no visibility into how their work is eventually going to be used. Now, contrast this with actual human-centric needs. True experts require shared ownership. They want ongoing royalties that reflect the durable, compounding value of their knowledge, along with real recognition for their specialized skills. Without those elements, the whole relationship is just purely transactional and highly skewed.
And this brings us to a major breaking point. Because there is no ownership and because validation is incredibly expensive for central platforms, top-tier experts are simply boycotting the ecosystem. I mean, think about it. If you are a specialized clinician handling complex diagnostics or a top-tier financial researcher deep in market analysis, why on earth would you spend your valuable time providing highly reliable, knowledge-rich data to a platform that pays you pennies once, only to watch them license your brainpower out for millions over the next decade? You just wouldn't. The incentives simply do not match the skill and effort required. And when these advanced intelligence workers don't show up, AI development in those crucial specialized fields basically just stalls out.
Moving to our next part, the AI data boom and why demand is spiking right now. This broken baseline we just talked about is colliding head-on with an explosive new reality in the tech world. It's a perfect storm of increasing capability and desperate need for specialized input.
The old system is literally cracking under the immense hunger of large language models and AGI for vertical-grade data, that highly specialized, industry-specific knowledge. There are three main reasons this demand is spiking so aggressively right now. First, we have expert data bottlenecks. Enterprises desperately need reliable medical, legal, and financial data, but they just cannot effectively mobilize and retain the high-skill annotators needed to create it. Second, this AGI data hunger means high-quality verifiable annotation is no longer just a niche requirement. It is now core infrastructure across literally every industry. And third, the economics finally fit. Because data has durable future value and is increasingly accessed on a continuous pay-as-you-go basis, a royalty-based settlement layer isn't just a theoretical concept anymore, it becomes an absolute urgent necessity.
Enter the Codatta Protocol, a paradigm shift to shared ownership. Here is where we see how Codatta steps in to completely flip the script by proposing to turn verified data into a shared on-chain asset.
One of the core innovations here is what they call Train Now, Pay Later, or TNPL. It's a real game changer. Instead of forcing model builders into massive, prohibitive upfront data purchases just to get their projects off the ground, Codatta allows them to access the data immediately. They then pay based on the downstream usage or the actual financial results of the model once it's deployed. Let's say a startup is trying to build a medical diagnostic tool. Instead of raising millions just to buy the initial dataset, they build the model first, and the data contributors earn their share as the tool gains traction in hospitals. This drastically lowers adoption friction for buyers, while completely guaranteeing that contributors get a piece of the long-term value. It finally aligns the effort of the contributor directly with the success of the builder.
But you might be wondering, how do you actually get those high-level experts back into the fold to provide that data in the first place? Well, human-centric sourcing is how the system attracts and retains qualified knowledge contributors. Instead of anonymous click farm labeling, Codatta uses clear credential signals. We're talking verified academic backgrounds, historical GitHub commits, or professional medical and legal licenses to establish proven track records. By surfacing the right people and offering them the recognition and recurring upside they deserve, the protocol treats them like the valuable knowledge partners they actually are, keeping them engaged for the long haul.
Now, let's look at the verification and quality engine, the mechanics of trust. Because, obviously, if you're going to pay royalties forever, that data has to be perfectly accurate, which requires a rigorous system of staking and reputation.
This pipeline visually breaks down how staking doesn't just replace quality assurance, it actively finances, prioritizes, and strictly enforces it every single step of the way. First up, a contributor submits data alongside evidence, but they must also put up a stake, putting skin in the game as a financial signal of their confidence. Next, automated checks scan for anomalies, instantly followed by blinded peer reviews from other verified experts to validate those claims. If there's a disagreement, the system auto-escalates to an expert audit and cross-attestation, reserving the really intensive identity checks just for high-risk, heavily contested situations. And finally, post-deployment verification, because the validation absolutely doesn't end just because the model goes live. Actually, there is a brilliant critical failsafe built directly into the system for exactly that. If data fails later on, say an error report comes in after deployment from a user interacting with the AI, accountability remains completely intact. Challenges automatically trigger re-verification, and if the data is proven wrong upon review, the original contributor's stake can be slashed, and their future royalties are immediately reallocated. This dynamic system routes expert time precisely to the highest-risk items that need review, without creating those sluggish, centralized bottlenecks that plague traditional platforms.
All of this leads us to a new data economy with built-in economics. Ultimately, staking on data and contributors prices ownership fairly, rewarding ongoing curation, rigorous accuracy, and long-term maintenance over just a raw initial input.
This quote right here really captures the climax of Codatta's vision, turning data from a cost center into an investable asset. For decades, companies have viewed data labeling as a painful expense, right? Just a massive line item on the budget to be minimized and outsourced as cheaply as possible. But by establishing shared ownership, ongoing royalties, and a strict decentralized verification engine, data becomes a compounding asset that generates value over time for everyone involved, from the builder all the way down to the individual contributor.
So, I want to leave you with this absolutely vital question. If your data is generating value forever, why are you only paid once? It's really time to demand better from the AI economy. The current system extracts immense value from contributors while simultaneously starving advanced models of the high-quality expert input they desperately need to improve. But as we've seen today, this protocol proposes a shared, human-centric future, one that aligns incentives, enforces rigorous quality, and ensures the actual human beings building the foundation of AI finally get their fair share. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this really challenges how you view the data powering our future and leaves you wondering what else in the AI pipeline is due for a massive overhaul.